So this is just a piece of scrap copper. I literally go down to the recycling center and buy scrap metal down there. I have this thing that I got custom made with the outline of Montana on it. It's essentially a hole punch for metal. So I just slide the copper in there, get it lined up, and I put it in here. So once the tension starts building up, you'll hear that's the metal popping out with the Montana shape. And you have this, you just cut off that little piece there, file it down, and got yourself a little shape of Montana. Make that into a pendant, keychain. I have smaller ones, you can do earrings. Yeah, it's pretty versatile. I'm Jen Pursell. I was born and raised in Kalispell, Montana. I moved to Bozeman, Montana 6.5 years ago. I first got into metalsmithing in high school. I took a class in high school. We had a really, really good art program, and metalsmithing was one of the classes that they offered. And moved to Bozeman and went to school for graphic design, but ultimately, really fell in love with metalsmithing there. For my senior thesis, I took my love of metalsmithing and graphic design and put it together into the business I'm currently running called Bezel Jewelry Designs. Bezel, if anyone doesn't know what the word bezel means, it's a type of stone setting where it's a thin piece of metal that's wrapped around a stone and then soldered on a base layer. A lot of your kind of rustic, simple jewelry design pieces with stones will be bezel set. And that's a lot of what I do, and so I thought naming my business Bezel would reflect that really well. This is my little buddy, Nick Cannon. He keeps me company when I'm working on jewelry. Say hi, little Nick. The primary way I sell stuff right now is I have a couple venues throughout western Montana selling pieces. A lot of it is word of mouth. I've actually sold a few pieces just straight off my hand. I'm wearing a ring, someone likes it, and I tell them that it's for sale and they buy it right there. I'll wear my jewelry just to sort of get a feel of how it's gonna feel on a customer's finger if there's a little sharp edge that I didn't notice, or if the stone somehow isn't gonna sit in the setting correctly. If I wear it for a few weeks, then I sort of get a feel for it, and then clean it up and post it on Etsy, and hopefully someone buys it and gets as much joy out of it as I have. So I have no previous business knowledge before this, and I still don't really have that much knowledge, but ever since I was a kid, I've always had this draw to sell things for some reason, and then when it ties into my draw to be creative, it's meshed together into this business. And I've literally had to teach myself marketing, accounting, taxes, inventory, invoicing, everything that I wasn't even on my radar before this, and I've just had to teach myself from square one. And the resources are out there, and it's not that difficult. If an art school grad can figure it out with no previous knowledge, anyone can do it. I don't think I do things in a conventional way where I draw up blueprints and measure things out. A lot of it's just freehand, free form, sort of winging it, and most of the time it turns out okay. Which are little feathers, which are then made into little feathery earrings. And they're literally cut out of the sheet metal and then solder a little wire on them. This is how it starts out. I made a feather pattern on the computer and printed it out, glued it on there, and then I'll saw it out with the little jeweler's saw here. I put this under here to catch all the little silver bits and dump them in my... I'm sort of paranoid that you're gonna get me just like slicing my finger, which happens every so often. Where I see myself in the next 5 years, well, I do work a couple days a week at a restaurant in town, and ideally I'd like to quit that job and just be doing jewelry full time. It's really nice to be your own boss, you know. I have a couple different companies contacting me right now for custom work. They're sending me ideas and I'm bringing it to life in metal. And then they're going and turning around and selling it, and we're both making money off of it, and it's working out really well because they get to see their idea in 3D and I get to produce work and get my work out there in ways that I didn't know was possible.